We're going to show how to program and configure a Ecotec Access BMU Pro. So the first thing we want to do is we're going to start the Ecotec Service Tool software, and you see that starts up right there. And now we've got the main screen up. At this point in time, you want to have the BMU Pro fully installed on the battery and ready to go and be programmed. If you want more information on that, that can be found in BMU Pro physical installation instructions. It's available on our website at ecotecbatcharger.com. So if you need that information first, I recommend you go there and download that document and follow those instructions for the installation. Once you've got it all installed, now you would like to get it all programmed to match the particular battery and application that you're in. So what we want to do is we want to go to Tools, Advanced, Configure Node. And now that we have that screen up, we want to click the Read Configuration screen. At this point, you'll get a blank screen here that says Select Node, and we need to scan for all networks that might be out there. Typically, you'll come up with one network, but you might come up with a second one. Usually there is our default network, which is PAN ID 19047 channel 15. If that comes up, that's a good first choice. If that doesn't come up, you could try the PAN ID 11111 channel 25. You might see that as well. But typically this will be the one you want to choose. Now once we've chosen that, we're going to scan again for nodes. So we're going to see all the nodes that are on that network. If you've got a large installation with a lot of BMU Pros or possibly chargers out there, you're going to get a long list, and you'll need to go and know the serial number of the new BMU Pro that you're getting ready to set up and pick it off the list. So you can see the list right here. We're going to choose this one. We're going to say OK. Now we have all the current programming settings for that BMU Pro up in several tabs here that come across the screen. In this video, we're just going to discuss the first two tabs, the Battery Settings tab and the Functions tab. So we got the first item here is BMU ID. By default, that will be the BMU Pro serial number. A lot of people just leave that in there. One other choice is to possibly move it into the battery tag field and then put maybe an asset number of a truck or a battery serial number over here. One thing to remember is in this BMU ID field, it is numeric characters only, so you can't put any alphas in there. We have the battery tag, and this is just a flexible tag that you can use to put a description in there. Again, a lot of people use it for truck asset number, battery serial number, so you can put things like that in there and use that. Battery type, this could be used if you have more than one battery type or possibly more than one vendor out there that you want to identify. Most frequently this is not used at all. Then we've got the charging curve. This will show you the type of curve that you're going to use to charge it. When it's connected to a charger, the charger will communicate to the BMU Pro, identify the proper curve, and use it. So typically you're going to use one of two curves. We're going to either use the CFLA, that is our conventional flooded lead acid curve for conventional charging, or more frequently an opportunity charge curve at 25 amps per 100. We also have a whole host of other curves at higher start rates for things like fast charging or faster opportunity charging that can be chosen. We also have some specialty curves for AGVs and sealed lead acid batteries and things like that. Then we want to go to the battery cell count. Typically that will be 12, 18, 24, maybe 40. So you need to enter that in. And then the battery capacity in ampere hours. Typically this is considered to be the 6-hour rate. We have the base load. Base load is a constant load that might be on the battery when charging. say for instance a fan that runs during the charging process or something like that, will allow the charger to compensate for that and still give the proper rates. Typically leave the DC cable resistance to 0. That will cause the charger to go into a mode where it actually measures that and compensates for that accordingly. Typically on a new BMU Pro with a new battery, you will put 1500 in here for cycles available, hit calculate, and it will calculate the exact number of ampere hours that will be available over the lifetime of that battery. So once you've got everything programmed in there that you want, click Write Configuration. You're going to get a nice tone and a reminder to say, is this exactly what you want? You say yes. And then once it's successfully made the program changes, you get an OK back. It is possible you might get a failure notification back. If that's the case, you might be too far away from the BMU Pro you're trying to program. So that's really it for this tab. We're going to go now to the second tab, the Functions tab. And here we have a couple of items that are very important. We have the electrolyte level sensor. Typically with a BMU Pro that'll be present. And then typically, since you've got that probe present, you'll want to choose a watering reminder based on the electrolyte level alarm so that you only get that alarm and reminder on the charger display when the electrolyte is actually low. You can set it up by interval or a particular day of the week. If you do choose that, we can choose the interval down here or the weekday here. Now we've got our equalized schedule. You got several choices here. You can set that up to no function. You can set it up to cyclic, weekday, on battery voltage and on imbalance, or on discharge ampere hour threshold. Typically you're going to be using either cyclic or weekday. Cyclic is usually recommended for conventional applications where you're changing batteries. Weekday is more appropriate for opportunity and fast charge applications where you want to charge on a particular off day on a weekend, or possibly a day that, even if you're working, you want to have an opportunity to equalize. This is the threshold for the discharge level. Again, that's something that's typically not used. Then we come over here to this side, and we would like to check the temperature units. In the United States, that's typically going to be Fahrenheit. If you're in Canada or Mexico, you might want to set that to degrees Celsius. Depending on your battery manufacturer's recommendation, you might set this to 130 or 135. It varies. Voltage balance alarm, recommended value for that is 2 volts or 2000 millivolts. And then the center voltage cell position, that is where your center current sensor is located for the BMU Pro. Please keep in mind that that is the number of cells from the negative terminal. If you want more information on that, again, look at the BMU Pro physical installation instructions. They're available on the ecotech-batcharger.com website. Once we get that done, we'll hit Write Configuration and go through these steps again. And now your programming of your major functions is complete. For some more advanced BMU programming information, see BMU programming video number 2. Thank you.